Alright. Welcome back, guys. Mist Passir here, as if you didn't recognize this ugly mug. I know I've been out of the picture, out of the scene for, gosh, it's going on almost a month now, but life has been busy, and unfortunately YouTube kind of had to take a back seat to a few things. We have an incredible amount of stuff to talk about, but before that I want to thank all of you who are watching right now, because if you're watching this video right now within the first 24 hours of its posting, that means that you are part of the few players out there supporting my channel and who have been for a very long time. And even if you haven't been supporting me for a very long time, just watching my videos for the last several months has meant a lot to me. I do appreciate all of you who are still watching and part of my notification squad. Shout out to you guys. And if it weren't for all of you watching this video right now, I probably would have not hung on to this YouTube thing, because this was something that I started almost, oh gosh, it's been over 2 years ago now. And I never would have thought that it would have grown to what it is now, and I really hope that I can dedicate more time to the future and actually growing this channel into what I believe it can be. I appreciate everything you do, even if it is just sitting behind a phone or a computer watching my videos. I love it. I love you guys, and I love talking to y'all on the various mediums that I talk to y'all on. With that said, let's talk about what's going on in Galaxy of Heroes. We're now 3 or 4 interview videos in, and we have gotten some incredible news from the devs. Aside from the Q&A sessions, which are a topic for another video because there are so many questions that they've been answering. But let's hit the big stuff. Bounty Hunters. Bounty Hunters getting a rework, finally. This is one thing that since the Darkside Territory battles came out, when Bounty Hunters were a required faction, one of the biggest weaknesses to the Bounty Hunter faction is they have no tank. And that's one thing that I've been hoping and praying and playing Sabacc and hoping that the cards fall in my favor and hoping that we get a Bounty Hunter rework out of it, right? Well, that day is finally coming. Bounty Hunters are getting reworked, and we're getting Bossk. Was Bossk probably the #1 bounty hunter asked for? Probably not. I'm pretty sure Jango Fett was the top bounty hunter asked for there. But Bossk, I could probably wager, was the second most requested bounty hunter, and we get a tank. Finally, get a tank for the bounty hunters. This is the one thing that the bounty hunters have been missing, was a tank. I mean, you could probably argue that the tankiest bounty hunter in the game right now is Boba Fett. An argument could be made for Dengar, but at the end of the day, Boba Fett's probably the tankiest. Every time he kills somebody, he gets all his protection back if you have the Zeta on him. But if you don't, he's still probably the tankiest because of that revive feature, and every time he kills somebody, he gets his bounty hunter's mark again, or whatever it's called. So, having a tank for the bounty hunters, huge, huge news. Big, big, big news. The other thing is mod management. That was one of the few things that I have been hoping and praying for, playing Sabacc, hoping that we get a mod management out of the pot there. But we did get some feedback. Half-Face's interview was very enlightening. I had been asking for it, praying for it. This last quality of life update was really hoping would be the one where we get mod management, but unfortunately didn't happen. Not a big deal, because the answer we got was a very encouraging one. They want to make sure they do it right, and the feedback that we got was that a mod management system is going to be very, very difficult for them to do and do right the first time. And I'd much rather them take the extra time, as painful as it is, moving mods around between 16 and more characters, because let's face it, we're all switching our arena mods around between all the characters we need for territory battles, for arena, obviously, for raids, for everything. You name it, the one section in the name a section in the game, and you got to move your mods around for it, right? And then after you've moved everybody's mods around, then you have to go and put all your other remaining mods back on all your characters for territory wars. The most exhausting part of the game, I think, is moving mods around. I probably spend more time moving mods than actually playing the game. So, trust me, I want a mod management system, but I will wait for them to do it the right way the first time. And for that, I'm glad that they were able to give us some insight there. Next up on the table, ships. Now, this is one of those little bits of the game where if you've been playing for a long time, when ships came out, the ship's cantina had a little table, was a little bit of like a, you know, the ghost icon, kind of the same way we've had that other table next to mods, the mod store. You have that other table where it has kind of like a rotating box that's kind of, you know, phased out. We had a table back there that had a phased out icon over it that looked a lot like Cantina Battles table, and it had a ship instead of the little blaster. Well, that icon was removed from the game a few months ago, several months ago, and we finally got some feedback during DB Official's interview that they are planning on adding a PvE table to ships. Big news, great news, love it, and I'm very excited because that pretty much confirms all of our suspicions. If you've been playing for a long time and saw that icon floating up there, it's like, when are they going to drop it? Now, the one thing that we didn't really get a good solid answer idea on was the ship components. So like the little icon when you're actually at the ship interface to the right side, right above the ship's star level. Those, the ship equipment, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but essentially ship mods is what I believe that the intent for those components to be. Maybe, maybe not, maybe it's specific, you know, like maybe for the X-Wings is a specific astromech. I don't know, but we didn't get a real good solid answer on that, so I'm still very curious on how that is going to happen, when, and the timeline there. I don't know, maybe I'll get a chance to ask them myself. But then the other thing that we need to talk about is a very hot topic, specifically right now, and that is raid rewards. Raid rewards, I've seen some of the first place, some of the top 10 place for Heroic Sith Raid, Sith Triumvirate, and the change is a little bit discouraging. But I don't know, there are still some things that they could do to fix what they've done, because honestly, I feel like they went a little bit overboard with reducing the amount of gear that drops, because many of the screenshots I saw didn't even have any gold gear included in it, and a lot of it seemed to be like stun cuffs and Mark V stun guns and the stuff that you get out of the Rancor. And it's like, why do I want Rancor from the Sith Triumvirate raid, or Rancor gear from the Sith Triumvirate raid, when I should be getting gear 12? Because let's face it, if you're playing the Heroic Sith Triumvirate raid, that is for gold gear. You have to be a top tier player. You have to have gear 11, gear 12 characters in order to complete and compete in the Sith Triumvirate raid. So if you're stuck not getting gear 12 pieces, which, let's face it, a lot of the top tier players, the whales, the veterans, the people who have been playing for a very, very, very long time, whether they've invested money or not, are at the point where a lot of their characters are at gear 12, and now they're looking for those last 3 pieces of gear to finish out those characters. When players at that level stop getting that gear, that's when the motivation starts to die off. You know, why should they keep investing? Why should they break their back when, I mean, they could just smack a tier 6 and get similar results. I mean, aside from the Atreus shards, what are they getting out of it? Yeah, they get a lot more guild shop currency, but unless CG has plans, which I'm not going to complain if they do, I really hope that they do actually have plans to rotate some of that gold gear into the guild store, because that store, I'm running out of characters to farm, so I'm focusing more on gear there, and if they're going to start dropping gear 12, the gold gear in there, I'm not going to complain, because there are a lot of pieces of gold gear that are very hard to get, and you pretty much just rely on RNG, or you'll never see it. So, I'm a little discouraged about the first look at some of those guild rewards, or sorry, guild raid rewards. But I think that everything is subject to change. So don't pull out the pitchforks just yet, because I promise we've given our feedback to the developers, and I'm sure some developers are probably watching this video right now. Hi. So it is, the feedback is being heard, I promise, and it's being heard loud and clear. The developers can't make changes overnight. Everything takes time. So trust that the initial feedback is being received, it's being heard, and it's being looked at. However, it is a little bit discouraging that it would go so far in one direction, just to need to be adjusted back a little bit. So hopefully we start seeing Gear 12 in the top 10 ranks. I mean, even if it's just the top 10, top 25, whatever. Obviously, I'd love to keep getting Gear 12 pieces down where I am. I'm terribly... I mean, I don't even have a lot of time to really compete in the raids, so I kind of throw in where I can, but I'm only ranking in the 30s, so by no means am I, like, wrecking the Sith Triumvirate raid. But, at any rate, the last topic of discussion that I really want to talk about is the farmable characters. We got 5 characters farmable today. We got the Executioner, we got Mother Talzin, we got the Zombie Spirit, and Wicket, all added to the game. Unfortunately, only 2 of those characters are in the Cantina battles, and that's Executioner and the Spirit. Take it for what you will. Honestly, in my opinion, they picked the worst Night Sister to put into the Cantina battles, because honestly, I think a lot of players are going to be wanting to get Talzin in the Zombie, which, I mean, let's face it, they were never going to put Talzin or Wicket into a Cantina battle. That just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't in the cards. So, unfortunately, we're all stuck slow farming the 2 of them. However, Talzin does have the added bonus of having that event, the Defensive Dathomir event, I believe is what it is. And so we can bank on getting an extra 10 Talzin shards, I don't know, every couple weeks. So there's that. Or if you are really hard pressed to go farm your Talzin just a little bit faster, you can go buy her shards in the shipments. So I mean, if you wanted to get some crystals on it, yeah, who am I to stop you, right? But at any rate, I am going hard on the Executioner. I am going to be farming the Zombie and Talzin. That's not going to change anything. I probably will not farm the Spirit, maybe. I don't know. It depends on what I want to do or what other characters become farmable between now and me finishing the Executioner to 7 stars. But the only reason I will hit Wicket's hard node is because it also drops Mark 5 stun guns, which, let's face it, that's what I'm going to be farming, is the Mark 5 stun guns, and the Wicket shards are just going to kind of be an added bonus, because those little murder bears are, I don't know, they're just not my cup of tea. Really, when it comes down to it, none of them really are. The only reason I'm farming them is for platoons. It's the only reason I'm farming them. But the hard nodes that I am hitting on a regular daily basis are the TIE Reaper, I don't know why it takes me forever to remember exactly what it's called. The TIE Reaper, Kylo's command shuttle, which embarrassingly enough, I only unlocked a couple weeks ago, so I've got a long ways to go on that. The Millennium Falcon, which is only a few shards away from 7 stars, so hopefully in the next 3 weeks, because my RNG sucks. Honestly, it'll probably be like the next couple days. I'll get the Millennium Falcon to 7 stars. That would be wicked. And then I am farming... obviously, I'm going to be farming Talzin, I'm going to be farming Zombie, and I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm actually farming Plo Koon because, again, his node drops Mark V stun guns, and, yeah, so Mark V stun guns, basically, 2 hard nodes that happen to have other characters on them, obviously, and then those ships, and the Talzin and the Zombie, so I'm spending a lot of energy on hard nodes, and then obviously I'm farming the Executioner. On the topic of Mark V stun guns, I would really like if they do, like I mentioned about the guild store, if they do rotate some more gear into the guild store, I would love to see Mark V stun guns added, because right now the only real other place to get Mark V stun guns is shipments for crystals, which, you know, if you're free to play, like I have been since September, you're not going to want to spend your crystals on Mark V stun guns, let's just face it. But the shard store, which the shard store is the change they made there was the best change they've made to any store in the game, honestly, because changing that from just pointless character shards, because let's face it, who's gonna farm like the mob enforcer out of the shard store? No. And arguably, a lot of people will be like, why would you waste your shard store currency on Grievous? Well, you know, some players don't really love General Grievous. So, yeah, those people are going to farm General Grievous. And, you know, yeah, he's in the fleet store, but if you want to speed it up, you got to farm him from the shard store too. But at any rate, I digress. I don't think I've gone more than one rotation, you know, one refresh rotation on the shard store in a week, maybe 3 to 4 day period. I don't go more than one refresh where I don't buy at least one piece of gear, because all the gear in there is incredible. Even from the blue gear and the green gear that you get out of there, you're getting completed pieces that you don't have to go and farm the components for, and it's just a win-win situation. I mean, the guild events, or sorry, the shard store is awesome, and when you are an end tier player, whether this is another piece, they've already told us that they are not going to put any new characters into Galactic War, into the Arena store, into the Cantina store. They're not going to add any more characters. They basically have told us that their intent is for, once a player's farmed all those characters out of those respective stores, they then can use all of that store currency on shard store currency to help with the gear crunch, which honestly, them telling me that they don't intend on adding any more characters to those stores means I can stop hoarding that currency. I think I have like 30,000 Cantina store currency, so I'm going to be burning that pretty quick. I use my Arena store currency for credits, because who can say no to credits? But it's good to know that your extra shards are not going to waste, because the gear store is, or the shard store, might as well call it the gear store, right, is amazing. Which, on that topic, I've got so much extra gear for certain pieces that I really wish that they would introduce a gear store. I don't know. I have not heard yet whether I will get an opportunity to interview some of the developers, and hopefully that I get to ask that question. That would be one question that I'm very excited to ask. I did ask John Solera that question a long time ago. For any of you guys who remember my interview, which I'll link up in the cards above, my interview with John Solera and Capgasp about a year and a half ago, I asked them about a gear store. So that question is long overdue. I will be asking that one again if I get a chance to interview the devs. So that right there, guys, I know that this video is probably a little bit longer than I like to keep them. I like to keep them around 10 minutes because that's easier to digest. But there was so much to talk about, and I have been gone for so long that I promise to make that up to you guys in the coming weeks to push out more content like this. I do like this format because I feel like this makes it more personal. I mean, I could throw random gameplay in here when I'm talking about stuff like this, but honestly, I prefer the podcast format where you can, you know, kick the video on and listen to it, or you can watch my ugly mug, my animated expressions, my hands flailing all over the place. I don't know my hands. So I like this format. It's easy for me to edit. It's easy for me to make sure that I can sit down for about half an hour, maybe an hour after editing, and just crack out a video and just talk to you guys from the heart. I don't script any of this. I had my computer open, yeah, but I wasn't even looking at the darn thing. It was really just there for mental, you know, just to spark the comments or keep myself on track more or less with the topics I wanted to talk about. So this is completely unscripted. I love to just go improv with you guys because really it's just, it keeps me honest, you know. I'm not just, you know, reading off a script or whatever. So I do appreciate you guys watching the video. Thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe, you know, smash the thumbs up button. It really helps me out. The obligatory script at the end of every video. But let's be honest, if you're watching the video, you're already subscribed, because I don't imagine myself getting a whole lot of new subscribers in the coming days or so. But at any rate, any of you guys watching this, I know, are part of my loyal subscriber base, and again, I gotta say thank you for continuing to stick with it while my channel's been kind of slow. And like I said, gonna be changing that hopefully in the coming days, weeks, and months. My wife graduates in about a month, and with that, hopefully we'll become a lot less stressed around here. So hopefully that'll free up a lot more time for me to make videos, talking to you guys, because let's face it, this is something that I love to do, whether I'm making a buck off of it or not. Any rate, guys, with that said, I gotta say thank you for watching. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. All of those links are in the description below. You can join my Discord server. Not a whole lot going on there, but hey, you can always hit me up, ask me questions. I'm always happy to answer. And that's one of the perks of having a small subscriber base, a small loyal fan base, is that I get a lot more opportunity to actually spend more one-on-one time with anybody who has comments, questions, concerns for me. And it kind of keeps me on more of a personal level. So with that said, guys, I will catch you later. Keep on gaming, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.